Miranda Richardson is here. She has made a number of films. She first came to attention in Dancing with a Stranger. She has made Damage. She was in The Crying Game. Her new film is called Tom and Viv. It is about T.S. Eliot's love affair, in which she plays Vivian, his first wife. It stars Willem Dafoe as T.S. Eliot, and I'm pleased to have her here. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Tell me about this movie, about T.S. Eliot, and about...
Well, it's
based on a play.
That was the original format of the piece, yes. Yeah. And the screenplay has been also written by Michael Hastings, right, together with Adrian Hodges, and it's expanding the piece. Yeah. Michael Hastings is the playwright. Right. And I first came to it via yet another version of this script, which was the radio version, and then about 6 months after that, 7 months after that, there I am doing the
You did
movie.
It on the BBC radio?
I did, yes. Yeah. Which you have very little time to prepare for, so it was wonderful to be able to expand on the work.
Whose decision was to make it into a film?
Well, it was the Samuelsons.
Yeah, I know, I saw that two Samuelsons who were...
Mark's wife, Debbie, thought it would make a wonderful film, and they got it together after 8 years. 8 years seems to be the average time it takes to get something on, well, particularly in England anyhow, so full marks to her perseverance and the boys, and it was a great team, and it's a chance to give Vivian Haigh Wood a hearing.
A hearing? A
hearing, yes, her contribution to life in general and to his work. I mean, don't test me, don't put a text in front of me and ask me to say which is Viv's line, and, you know, we could get into deep water there. The film is what I call faction. It's an imaginative reconstruction of events in the life of Vivian Haigh Wood and T.S. Eliot together. Right. It's a portrait of their marriage, but the marriage is in the work, and
the marriage is reflected in his poetry.
Yeah. I mean, if he hadn't met Vivian, he would have written different stuff. That's what I say.
What do you think her influence was on him? What did she...
What, her contribution?
Yeah.
Well, her. I mean, this is what I find impossible to answer. She was... one of the clips you're going to see, you will see her in a kind of secretarial mode, where she's typing up for him and she's making suggestions, and I mean suggestions about the text. I should elaborate on that one. There are annotated texts which we now know are Vivian's. There's no mention of this in any biography or any of the essays about Eliot. Or, you know, she's dismissed throughout all the stuff on him.
Take a look at this. Let me just show. This is Willem Dafoe and Miranda Richardson. Here it is. Take a look. Here it is.
Come, not at all. Please, right this way. Viv.
I suppose you just happened to be in the area.
I've asked the bishop to call Viv. Vivi, I'm sure you have a million things to do.
Oh, I see. You want to be alone. Well, if you like, I could go up to the roof and see how long I could dangle in the air.
If I'm intruding in any
not
way...
at all. I believe the sale is still on at Selfridges.
I thought we were working on your poems today, Tom.
What did you learn about T.S. Eliot from all of this?
I suppose I learnt that he must have been just as difficult to live with as she could be. They deserve each other. I think it's perhaps a misfortune in one way that these two people met and misunderstood each other. There's no doubt that they were incredibly stimulated intellectually by each other, and each saw in the other what they thought was a means of escape, found each other exotic. I mean, he was dazzled by her and saw a way into belonging to British society. That was his dream. He wanted to be more English than the English. She detested all that stood for, euphemism and hypocrisy, of which she recognizes the church as a very large part, which is why she's so against the bishop in that scene. And she sees him retreating into this landscape, which she's been trying to escape from, you know. And Brian said to me and Willem at the start of the rehearsals, you know, she keeps him honest. He's the only one that she cares about in the movie. So she's forever sort of debunking. She loathes the influence of the Bloomsbury Group on him. You know, they lionize him, and he starts to believe his own publicity. And she knows he's great, and she understands his work. And because she hasn't been allowed to contribute and express herself because of her appalling malady, which we can call hormonal imbalance now, you know, we might call premenstrual syndrome, but appalling. Her expression, her self-expression is through his work, is through her contribution to his work. She's been discouraged from further education. She's been discouraged from appearing in any area of society where she might potentially be an embarrassment, because this pernicious cocktail of drugs that she's been prescribed can cause her to behave in a apparently irrational and over-elaborate manner.
What happened to her?
When? At the end?
Yes.
Well, she was committed to a very genteel asylum, but as we show in the film, she actually, the polite way of putting it is, it recognizes her destiny as the wife of a great poet, or she sacrifices herself. She knows that...
For his...
Yeah, for his career.
Glory.
Yeah. She knows how great he is and how great he is going to be. And she follows his career even when she's in the nursing home.
She's not there. Yeah.
She spends...
And feels
vindicated?
Yeah.
Yeah, for her decision. She never regrets her decision. We never see her regret. She has enormous dignity at the end. She stands by that decision that she made. She's also, we also see her make somewhat of a recovery during the time she's there, because during the time she's there, she goes through the menopause, so she's in a calmer frame of mind. The hormonal imbalance sorted itself out, and she lives out the rest of her days there, and is not visited by him once. He kind of effectively withdraws from her completely.
When you are going to play someone who has been an actual living person, lots of liberties are taken in this film with actual events in their life, I guess.
Well,
no,
I don't know about lots.
Well, some.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some literary license here. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Did you spend a lot of time trying to understand her and get inside her psyche, or just simply take it from the script and go from there?
Well, I mean, the script is so strong that I found her very accessible. So I felt, in a sense, that a lot of the work had been done for me already. I mean, Michael, Michael had written the play. He understood this person, you know, very well. This is based on the memories of Maurice Haigwood, her brother, who, when Michael went to talk to him, was aged 82 and wanting to clear his conscience. He said, you know, I've carried this burden of guilt. I've carried this burden of guilt for so long. I want to tell you what happened. So it's very faithful to those accounts. So I found her very accessible, as I say. I also read, as Michael had done, her diaries, which haven't been published yet, and I mean, I hope they will be eventually. There are big gaps in them, but they're very affecting. They're very immediate to me.
Who was in the Bloomsbury Group?
Oh, God.
No, I don't mean to ask. You know why I ask? Because I just saw, I mentioned this earlier, I just saw, I mean, clearly Vita Sackville-West was, along with...
And there's Ottoline Murrell.
Right.
the Sitwells, Virginia Wood, Lytton Strachey.
Virginia Woolf,
yeah, all these people. I mean, we don't concentrate on them for a lot of the film, but they were trying to move Tom away, you know, into their circle. He was very special, and as I say, they lionized him. And she just found them full of hot air and false and sham and all show,
pretensions,
you know.
and all.
Yeah. And actually stuffy, you know, not dissimilar from the stuff she was trying to get away from in the first place. You know, even though they purported to be the new wave.
Set this up for me. This is where You Are My Husband is the clip.
This is the scene which precedes her committal by the doctors who've been keeping an eye on her. This is the first time that she and Tom have really talked in their marriage, you know, at crisis point.
Roll tape.
I do know what goes on in your mind. Who is it this time? Gert or Daisy? Oh, you're up to something and no mistake.
Let's be calm, Vivi.
I keep getting all these horrible formal letters from your lawyer. I told them I wanted to talk to you. After all, you are my husband.
We are legally separated.
Well, that's just a form of words, isn't it? Whom God has joined, let no man put asunder. You're an expert on God, aren't you?
We mentioned Willem Dafoe is the actor. Had you known him before? Had you two?
No, I hadn't worked with him before, but I knew his work and loved his choices.
The choices of the roles that he.
Yeah.
How do you like your choices of roles?
I kind of feel we're in the same field. You know, I like to. It's an internal move rather than necessarily what people would call a career move. I need to take something.
You choose based on what?
Writing and
an interesting character.
Yeah, something I feel hopefully that I haven't explored before. Obviously, if people are already attached to it, I find that very important. You know, the director and fellow actors, who you're going to be working with. If it's got a good sort of chemistry feel about it, they're all important things.
Does it normally work out then? I mean, are your hunches generally right?
I guess so. Yes, broadly speaking.
And you're thinking about the exceptions now as you roll through it.
Broadly speaking, what I was going to say was that you can never say how the process is going to be. And I was talking about this the other night. The process is what you remember. So if it's occasionally difficult, that's not to say it isn't good or the end result won't be good. And you will be changed in some way, moved on in some way, each time you do work on a piece. You know, it's concentrated stuff. I mean, for a number of weeks, and then it stops, and it takes time to assimilate.
It takes time to pull away from it, to leave the character, to leave the group, to leave the instant family created.
Yes, I think it's to leave the family. I don't think it's leave the character exactly, although I do find myself replaying scenes in my mind and thinking of other possibilities of how it would go on too late, you know. But that's okay. That's sort of creative. You know, you're still working. That's
Do you
fine.
battle with directors?
No, I don't. No.
Just ask. I didn't know. I don't have a case list here.
An agenda.
No.
Unless discussion is battle. If you sort of feel very strongly about something, then hopefully you're working with somebody who is going to take that on board, who you can discuss with. That's all I'd have to say, really.
Crying Game.
Crying Game.
You loved it.
Long time ago.
Yeah, but not that long ago. I mean, it seems like the last time you were here.
Yeah.
For the Crying Game.
Oh. I had a great time. Yeah, I did, and I was thrilled at
with
its
success.
Yeah. I thought it was highly original.
How about Damage?
How about what do I feel?
Did you like it? Were you pleased with it? Did it turn out the way you wanted it to?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
would you say so if it wasn't? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
Yes.
I remember watching that. When the first time you watch something, you're looking at yourself and your mistakes or otherwise, and then thereafter you can see the whole a lot better. And so, I mean, I remember watching it.
Did we just lose a light, do you think?
I think we did.
I think we did, but let's continue anyway.
So, yeah, so I remember watching it and just sort of checking myself out, thinking, yeah, okay, that's all right. You know, so that's what you do.
How often do you watch them? I mean, do you go back and look at them?
No, I don't. I don't think it should be necessary. If you're promoting a film, then you're going to have to see it a few times. Anyway, but I don't like to see too many. I mean, this one I've seen about 4.
And do you
or
see
5
something
times.
different every time?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
About your performance?
Yeah, or you remember about a particular scene, what you were going
and
through.
And the first time you watch it, you're basically focusing on...
Am I making a fool of myself?
Am I making a fool of myself? Is this embarrassing to me?
Yes, that kind of...
But it's never been that way, has it?
Embarrassing? Well, I'm quite hard on myself, really. The thing is, you can't see it out of context. You must look at the whole. So you have to get through this first viewing and this criticism, and then see it in the whole sweep of things after that.
Why did you become an actress?
And I found something I could do or that had an effect on people. I had a wonderful English teacher from about the age of 14, and she made me love language, and we had some opportunities to act, you know, which I hadn't really done before, sort of chunks of Shakespeare or reading in class, and I had some sort of feel for it, and something that I wasn't in control of, which was, or I didn't think I was anyway at that point, having an effect on people around me, I mean, people in that class. So that was a nice feeling when you're undirected in your life, and I sort of persevered with that. She would put leaflets in front of me about summer schools and things like that, and yeah, I found it a necessary part of my life, you know, to interpret.
Any regrets?
What, you mean that I'm not a brain surgeon?
Yeah, well, exactly. Or that you're not
like
an
that.
Oxford, you know, scholar or something. That you're not teaching English or teaching literature.
Teaching, I think, is the most wonderful profession. I mean, I'm pretty sure I couldn't do it, but I think it's a wonderful thing.
You don't come from a show business family.
No, I don't. Nothing more than sort of amateur in the best sense. My mother's had a great singing voice, but she never went professional with it. So that's probably the closest we get.
After dance, I mean, I remember that there was this explosion of curiosity about you. It's almost, there was a sense of mystery about you. Do you remember that? How long ago was it?
I probably wasn't aware of it. It was
because it was
8 or
sort
9
of a
years
breakthrough film, and everybody...
Well, I mean, it was...
For you.
It was my first film, so
Right.
I was way out of control. I mean, I was just sort of plunged into the middle of it. And
into the middle of all the
trying to
hype and all the
swim,
attention and all the
really.
sort of...
Yeah, yeah. And so I don't... If you're asking, do I have any regrets about after that time, I don't think so, because I don't think I would have been very good at handling it. You know, it was sort of... That was a longer cool-down period, I think, after that film.
What's been the best experience for you in film?
Well, this was wonderful, working on Tom Viv. I found it very liberating and
How
fulfilling.
liberating?
Well, because Viv, for all her illness, is, I think,
Is a
the
woman you
healthier.
liked.
Yeah, she's
That
the
was it.
healthier of the two, because
Yeah.
she gets it out there, you know, she expresses herself.
And she knows who she is, and
Yeah.
And she's not hung up by...
She's the one who's lucid and not... Yeah, she's not fearful.
Stuffy or...
So that was a release and a relief, I think, to play. She's quite sort of physical and funny as well. I find her funny.
What do you do next?
That's a mystery. Yeah, it's it's in debate at the moment, but it's not unusual for me to take breaks in between work.
You don't go crazy during a break?
No, I don't think so. My only regret has been that there aren't more things that I want to do that I don't feel I've explored before, or whatever, you know, in the scripts I've seen.
Would turn down things that you thought might be
offensive or something?
No, might be successful, but it just didn't interest you. I mean,
if it has to do with, if I feel I can make a contribution in the character, that's important to me, you know. Or if it's not there, if you can kind of make it into something, then, you know, I don't have a problem if the film is successful. That's what we hope, you know. We hope people will go and see them, these films, and enjoy them and be entertained by them. But I mean, I hope to be truthful. Sounds goody-goody, but
does it get easier?
No.
It doesn't?
No, I'm afraid not.
Acting doesn't get easier?
No. No, I think it's something that you do
one of those
instinctively when you can do anything. You're sort of fearless, you know, when you're 18, 19, and it gets more complicated later on.
Is there a point, do you remember the point when you felt, I can really do this? I know I can
I think
handle
it was
this.
when I was auditioning for drama school, the one I ended up going to, and there was a weekend school, and you sit and you do pieces from plays and things like that. And, you know, the whole circle of people, and you hear the person before you, and you think, no, that's not it, that's not it. No, yeah. I can't wait, you know. Wait for your turn.
You, one of the things you said, we had a whole, you said, I don't feel competitive in this business, but then I don't really need to be. So competitive has no meaning in that context.
Oh, my God. Is that what I said?
That's what you said.
I don't need to be. I think I meant I don't need to be in my home. I mean, I've been very lucky there. I've been going a few years now, so people do know me there, and work tends to come to me without me having to
go out and pursue and be somebody in order to get it.
Yeah.
Tom and Viv is opening around the country. Willem Dafoe and Miranda Richardson. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.